Behind the facade of British high society from the year 1960 to 1990, a dark shadow loomed. For top stars, a romantic connection with a foreigner was a death sentence. The secret services were always watching, ready to crush anyone crossing the line. What were the hidden prices paid for these forbidden passions? Subscribe and share your thoughts below as we unveil the tragic fates authorities tried to erase. These are 10 legends destroyed by the system. Christine Keeler. The glittering lights of the London elite in the early 1960s promised endless opportunities for a young and captivating model. She stepped into a world of immense wealth and power, completely unaware of the invisible web being spun around her every move. Her beauty opened the doors to exclusive gatherings where the most influential figures of the British establishment mingled. However, her magnetic charm also attracted attention from figures across the ideological divide, making her an unwitting pawn in a global game. The atmosphere became incredibly dense when she formed an intimate bond with an international diplomat from Eastern Europe. It was the year 1961, a time when global tensions were incredibly high and the state security apparatus was highly paranoid. To her, it was merely a passionate romance, a thrilling escape from the ordinary routines of high society life. To the intelligence agencies monitoring the situation, this relationship was a massive threat that required immediate and ruthless neutralization, regardless of the human cost. Operatives began to meticulously document every private meeting, turning her personal life into a weapon of state destruction. They watched from the shadows, collecting whispers and gathering evidence to frame her romantic choices as a national emergency. Soon, a devastating public scandal erupted, carefully orchestrated to tear down everyone connected to her. The press relentlessly hounded her, transforming a private affection into a scandalous sensation that dominated the front pages and ruined her peace of mind forever. Instead of protecting a citizen, the authorities used the full weight of the legal system to make a public example of her. She faced harsh interrogations and a completely shattered reputation, bearing the ultimate punishment for the indiscretions of men in power. The very society that once celebrated her striking presence now turned its back, leaving her completely isolated and extremely vulnerable. She was dragged through exhausting trials, resulting in a brief but devastating loss of her personal freedom that forever scarred her soul. For the rest of her days, she carried the heavy burden of a ruined name, never able to escape the shadow of that international affair. The security services succeeded in making her a cautionary tale, proving that a single forbidden romance with a foreigner could cost a person their entire future. Her brilliant potential faded into a tragic footnote of history, serving as a grim reminder of how deeply the state could invade and destroy a human heart for the sake of political survival and maintaining absolute control. Stephen Ward. A celebrated portrait artist and renowned osteopath once held the physical well-being of the British elite in his hands. He moved seamlessly through the highest echelons of London society, earning the absolute trust of prominent political figures. His charisma made him an indispensable figure at exclusive gatherings during the late 1950s and early 1960s. Yet, this brilliant socialite harbored international connections that would soon transform him from a favored guest into the ultimate target of a ruthless state machine. The turning point occurred when he facilitated social introductions between his high-profile acquaintances and a charismatic foreign intelligence officer. Unbeknownst to the talented artist, domestic security services were monitoring these intricate social webs. They initially observed his diplomatic friendships with keen interest, even subtly encouraging him to act as a conduit for information. However, when a massive national scandal threatened to topple the government, the intelligence apparatus turned against him with devastating force. Suddenly stripped of his powerful protectors, he found himself entirely isolated, as the panicked establishment desperately sought a convenient scapegoat. The authorities systematically dismantled his esteemed reputation, launching an aggressive legal campaign designed to humiliate him and protect those in higher positions. Influential clients completely abandoned him, cowardly refusing to offer any support. His attempts to bridge cultural divides through private diplomacy were deliberately twisted into vicious accusations of facilitating inappropriate liaisons. The courtroom quickly became a theater of psychological destruction, where the security apparatus ensured his private life was fully weaponized. He was subjected to a merciless trial that many observers deemed deeply unfair, facing exaggerated charges manipulated by immense state pressure. The relentless public shaming and the sheer weight of institutional betrayal proved to be an unbearable burden. Realizing that the guilty verdict had been predetermined by the government to save its own face, his artistic spirit completely broke under the pressure. In the year 1963, just hours before the court could officially announce his unjust conviction, he made a tragic final decision. He slipped into an eternal slumber from which he never awoke, choosing a quiet departure over a life of engineered public disgrace. His demise served as a chilling victory for the intelligence services, who successfully buried their own embarrassing oversights alongside him. His story remains a stark testament to the ruthless efficiency with which the state can erase a human life to cover up forbidden ties. John Profumo. Power is an intoxicating force, but it evaporates in an instant when private desires clash with national security. He was a rising star in the political arena, a respected minister trusted with critical defense secrets. His aristocratic background made him a beloved figure among the ruling elite. Yet, beneath the polished exterior of this esteemed statesman lay a vulnerability that would soon trigger one of the most explosive crises in modern history. The tragic downfall began during a seemingly innocent summer gathering at a lavish country estate in the year 1961. It was there that he crossed paths with a mesmerizing young woman, sparking a passionate but highly dangerous secret romance. He was completely unaware that the object of his affection was also sharing her time with a foreign military attaché from a rival global power. This intersection of high-level government access and forbidden international connections immediately triggered alarm bells deep within the intelligence community. The security services swiftly mobilized, recognizing the immense risk posed by this intertwined romantic triangle. They began silently monitoring his movements, documenting the hidden rendezvous that threatened to compromise the entire defense establishment. The situation escalated rapidly as the press caught wind of the whispers, transforming quiet rumors into a roaring public demand for accountability. As the net closed around him, he made the fatal mistake of standing before his peers and issuing a firm but entirely false denial of any inappropriate conduct. That single moment of deception sealed his absolute ruin, as the intelligence agencies quietly leaked the undeniable truth to powerful political figures. When the reality of his romantic entanglement finally surfaced, the backlash was incredibly swift and utterly merciless. He was forced to publicly resign in the year 1963, stripped of his esteemed position, his political future completely obliterated. The state apparatus abandoned him instantly, treating him not as a devoted public servant, but as a grave liability that had to be aggressively excised from polite society. Stripped of his titles and prestige, he spent the remaining decades of his life seeking redemption through quiet charity work. Despite his relentless efforts to make amends, he could never fully escape the shadow of that devastating intelligence operation. The security forces had successfully demonstrated their absolute power, proving that even the highest officials were completely defenseless against the consequences of forbidden international passions. His legacy was permanently defined by a single romantic misjudgment. John Vassall. Elegance and refined manners were the ultimate currency in the sophisticated diplomatic circles of the mid-20th century. For one impeccably dressed clerk working within the naval attaché office, a glamorous overseas assignment seemed like the ultimate reward for his dedication. He thrived in the vibrant cultural scene of a distant capital, attending lavish embassy parties and mingling with the local elite. However, beneath his polished exterior lay deep personal secrets that made him the perfect target for a highly coordinated intelligence operation. The year was 1954, when his carefully constructed world began to unravel in a foreign land. He was invited to a seemingly innocent social gathering that had been meticulously staged by rival foreign operatives. During this fateful evening, his hidden romantic preferences were exploited through a carefully orchestrated setup involving intimate encounters that were secretly documented. The intelligence agents captured compromising photographs, instantly transforming his private desires into an inescapable instrument of devastating blackmail. Faced with the terrifying prospect of total social and professional annihilation, he succumbed to the intense psychological pressure. To protect his reputation from public ruin, he was forced to begin a treacherous double life, quietly transferring classified naval documents to his foreign handlers. For several years, he operated undetected in the very heart of the defense establishment, returning to his home country while still bound by the invisible chains of foreign extortion. The state security apparatus remained entirely blind to the agonizing compromise. The illusion of safety shattered completely in the year 1962, when domestic counterintelligence finally detected the leak of classified material. A relentless investigation quickly traced the missing documents back to his extravagant lifestyle, which far exceeded his modest salary. The security services descended upon him with terrifying precision, exposing his most closely guarded secrets to a scandalized public. The establishment that had once embraced him now subjected him to a brutal trial that dominated the national headlines. His punishment was swift and incredibly harsh, resulting in a lengthy loss of his personal freedom behind high prison walls. The intelligence community used his tragic downfall as a powerful weapon to justify stricter surveillance over the private lives of government employees. After serving his time, he emerged into a world that completely shunned him, forced to live out his remaining days in absolute obscurity. His existence became a chilling reminder of how easily foreign powers could destroy a life by weaponizing forbidden intimacy. Mariella Novotny. The glittering underground cabaret scene of the 1960s possessed no star more mesmerizing than this deeply captivating dancer and society hostess. Mariella Novotny was born into ordinary British life, but completely transformed herself into an absolute icon of metropolitan glamour. She reigned over the most exclusive and highly secretive gatherings in the capital, attracting a remarkably powerful audience of aristocrats and celebrated artists. Her undeniable charisma made her the ultimate centerpiece of London nightlife. But her brilliant allure also caught the dangerous attention of the intelligence community. The tragic turning point of her glamorous existence occurred when she formed a highly passionate and secret connection with a charismatic foreign diplomat. She hosted incredibly lavish events where domestic politicians freely mingled with overseas representatives, creating an atmosphere that deeply alarmed the national security apparatus. Her personal affection for the foreign attaché was viewed not as a simple romance, but as a severe threat to the stability of the entire establishment. The intelligence services immediately labeled her a dangerous liability who possessed far too many state secrets. Operatives from the shadow world began a relentless campaign of psychological warfare against the radiant performer. They placed her entire existence under absolute surveillance, meticulously recording her private conversations and documenting her intimate international liaisons. The authorities systematically pressured her influential friends and wealthy patrons to completely abandon her, ensuring she was entirely isolated from the high society she once dominated. Her lucrative cabaret career was deliberately dismantled through a coordinated campaign of quiet intimidation and public whispers. Stripped of her glamorous livelihood and facing constant harassment from the security forces, she attempted to rebuild her shattered life across the ocean. However, the immense reach of the intelligence network followed her every single footstep, ensuring that her reputation was permanently poisoned wherever she traveled. She was subjected to continuous interrogations and terrifying threats, effectively transforming her daily reality into an inescapable prison of profound anxiety. The state had successfully turned her passionate romantic choices into a weapon of absolute personal destruction. For more than 2 decades, she lived as a heavily monitored outcast, desperately trying to write her memoirs and expose the dark truths of the establishment. In the year 1983, just as she prepared to reveal the extensive details of her foreign romances and the subsequent state persecution, her life came to a highly mysterious and deeply tragic end. She was found having passed away under incredibly suspicious circumstances, completely alone in her residence. Many believe this devastating conclusion was the ultimate act of the security services, permanently silencing a beautiful star who knew too much. Mandy Rice Davies. The dazzling spotlight of London during the early 1960s possessed the extraordinary power to create overnight cultural sensations, and few figures were as incredibly luminous as this charismatic dancer and actress. Born into a relatively quiet and unremarkable provincial life, Marilyn, universally known to the adoring public simply as Mandy, completely transformed herself into the absolute beating heart of the metropolitan entertainment scene. Her sparkling wit and phenomenal beauty effortlessly opened the heavy doors to the most exclusive and secretive social circles. She entertained aristocratic lords, influential government ministers, and highly prominent international guests, radiating an aura of absolute freedom and modern glamour that captivated the entire nation. The intoxicating illusion of her glamorous existence began to severely crack when she formed a highly passionate and deeply secret association with a charismatic foreign diplomat. In the intensely paranoid and heavily monitored atmosphere of the era, the state security apparatus viewed any intimate mingling between prominent domestic cultural stars and overseas representatives as a catastrophic threat to national stability. The intelligence agencies immediately labeled her a highly dangerous liability, believing her magnetic influence over powerful political figures could be easily manipulated by rival nations. They began to meticulously monitor her highly lavish parties and private rendezvous, silently weaving an inescapable web of absolute surveillance around her entire world. The shadowy authorities swiftly unleashed a terrifyingly coordinated and utterly ruthless campaign designed to completely dismantle her flourishing theatrical career and deeply tarnish her public standing. They aggressively pressured the theatrical establishment, prominent film directors, and wealthy patrons to entirely abandon her without any genuine explanation. Secret operatives meticulously documented every aspect of her private life, deliberately weaponizing her intimate romantic choices to orchestrate a devastating and highly public scandal. She was aggressively dragged into incredibly hostile courtrooms, forced to defend her deeply personal affections and private lifestyle under the crushing and unforgiving weight of immense state intimidation. Despite her legendary public defiance and incredibly sharp intellect, the relentless psychological warfare waged by the combined forces of the police and intelligence services proved to be entirely overwhelming. The authorities systematically destroyed her artistic and professional opportunities within the country, ensuring that prominent theatrical producers and television networks completely blacklisted her name from any future productions. The national press, heavily manipulated by quiet intelligence briefings, transformed her vibrant and joyful public image into a deeply toxic cautionary tale. She found herself utterly isolated from her peers, stripped entirely of her glamorous livelihood, and constantly hounded by the suffocating shadows of state surveillance. Realizing with absolute heartbreak that the deeply unforgiving establishment would never allow her to find peace or professional success on her native soil, she was forced into a sudden and highly reluctant exile. She gathered the fragmented pieces of her shattered life and left her beloved homeland behind, desperately seeking to rebuild her entirely ruined existence across the globe. Although she eventually managed to cultivate a new reality in foreign lands, the devastating and permanent impact of the intelligence operation completely erased her brilliant artistic potential in British cinema. Her unforgettable story remains a profound and chilling tragedy of a truly radiant star whose magnificent light was ruthlessly extinguished by the state. Tom Dreberg. An influential voice in the political landscape of the mid-20th century, possessed a rare talent for commanding public attention. He was a celebrated journalist and a prominent elected representative, famous for his sharp wit and deeply engaging columns. His extravagant lifestyle and flamboyant personality made him a permanent fixture in high society. Yet, beneath this untouchable public facade, resided a man driven by highly dangerous personal desires that would soon attract the unwavering gaze of intelligence agencies. The pivotal moment of his life occurred during a highly publicized assignment to an Eastern European capital in the year 1956. Tasked with interviewing a notorious expatriate, he brazenly ignored the strict protocols of diplomatic behavior. Driven by his unyielding appetite for secret romance, he plunged into the underground social scene of the heavily monitored city. He engaged in intimate encounters with local citizens, completely disregarding the terrifying reality that foreign operatives observed his every move. Rival intelligence officers quickly recognized his reckless behavior as a golden opportunity to secure a highly placed informant. They meticulously gathered compromising evidence of his forbidden foreign liaisons, preparing a devastating blackmail campaign. However, his own domestic security services were already closely tracking his international escapades. When he returned home, he found himself trapped in an invisible cage of constant surveillance. His own government viewed him not as a respected leader, but as a severe national security risk. Instead of staging a loud public trial, the domestic authorities chose a much more insidious method of destruction. They silently blocked his access to higher political offices, ensuring his brilliant career would forever stagnate. Every telephone conversation was recorded, and every social interaction was thoroughly scrutinized by watchful agents. He was forced to live with the agonizing knowledge that his private passions had been fully weaponized against him. The state quietly dismantled his credibility within the inner circles of power. He spent the final decades of his life as a heavily compromised figure, a prisoner of his own reckless foreign entanglements. Even after his passing in the year 1976, his legacy was heavily overshadowed by the release of classified intelligence files. The security apparatus made sure that history remembered him not for his brilliant writing or political advocacy, but for his dangerous vulnerability. His story stands as a chilling testament to the severe consequences of pursuing forbidden intimacy across hostile borders. Guy Burgess. A brilliant conversationalist and a rising star within diplomatic circles, he enchanted everyone he met. With his aristocratic charm and access to the highest levels of the British establishment, he seemed utterly invincible. Yet, behind the charismatic smile and the endless stream of elite parties lay a deeply hidden devotion to an entirely different ideological world. This secret allegiance, fueled by intimate foreign connections, would eventually trigger an unprecedented earthquake within the domestic security services. The foundation of his double life was built upon deeply personal relationships with foreign handlers. He did not merely share classified information, he formed profound emotional bonds with those who guided him from the shadows. Throughout the 1940s and early 1950s, he operated as a master of deception, using his vibrant social life as an impenetrable shield. However, as the global political climate grew increasingly paranoid, counterintelligence began to tighten the net around his complex web of foreign associates. Knowing that the authorities were closing in and that absolute destruction was imminent, he made a desperate choice in the year 1951. Leaving behind his prestigious career and his entire social universe, he vanished into thin air alongside a close confidant. They fled across the continent, seeking refuge behind the heavily fortified borders of a rival superpower. This sudden disappearance completely humiliated the domestic intelligence agencies, exposing their massive failures and sparking a furious witch hunt. While he physically escaped the harsh interrogations of his home country, his new reality quickly transformed into a gilded cage. Living in a strange and cold capital during the early 1960s, he found himself completely isolated from the vibrant culture he once adored. The foreign intelligence apparatus that once embraced him now treated him with polite suspicion. His former homeland systematically erased his legacy, painting him as the ultimate symbol of betrayal, forever linking his romantic choices to permanent exile. The psychological toll of his isolated existence and the heavy burden of his severed roots proved to be a fatal combination. His health rapidly deteriorated as he sought comfort in excessive indulgence, desperately trying to mask his profound loneliness. In the year 1963, thousands of miles away from the elite circles he once dominated, his life came to a tragic and quiet end. His story remains a defining trauma for the state, a glaring proof that intimate foreign ties could completely shatter the highest establishment. John Stonehouse. A prominent political figure and a respected voice within the government, he seemed perfectly suited for a long and distinguished career. He occupied high ministerial positions, handling complex national and international affairs with impressive skill. His public image was that of a devoted family man and a tireless public servant, admired by his constituents. However, beneath this incredibly successful exterior hid a desperate reality of financial ruin and a deeply hidden relationship that would completely shatter his existence. The turning point occurred when his intricate business dealings became dangerously entangled with foreign intelligence interests during the 1960s. While conducting official duties overseas, he formed a deeply intimate connection with a sophisticated foreign national. He was utterly captivated by her charm, completely unaware that this passionate romance was a carefully orchestrated trap. Foreign operatives used his vulnerable emotional state and his mounting financial debts to slowly pull him into a terrifying web of espionage and extortion. As the domestic security services grew increasingly suspicious of his erratic behavior and unexplained wealth, the pressure became absolutely unbearable. He knew that the revelation of his foreign liaisons and his compromised loyalty would result in an immediate and devastating public scandal. The intelligence apparatus was relentlessly closing in, preparing to completely destroy his political legacy and his personal freedom. Faced with total ruin, he conceived an incredibly desperate and chaotic plan to escape his terrifying reality. In the late autumn of the year 1974, he traveled to a distant sunny shore and completely vanished. He carefully orchestrated his own tragic demise, leaving his clothes neatly folded on the beach to create the perfect illusion of a drowning accident. While his nation mourned a respected leader, he fled across the globe under a stolen identity, desperately hoping to reunite with his secret foreign love. However, His incredibly reckless escape attempt quickly unraveled due to a series of absurd miscalculations. Discovered and captured just a few weeks later, he was forcefully returned to face the absolute fury of the state. The domestic authorities subjected him to a deeply humiliating trial, publicly exposing his immense debts, his forbidden foreign romance, and his elaborate deception. He suffered a total collapse of his reputation and a harsh loss of his freedom, completely ruined by his desperate attempt to outrun the intelligence services. His name became forever synonymous with ultimate political disgrace and tragic betrayal. Anthony Blunt. The sacred halls of royal palaces and the most prestigious art galleries were his absolute domain. An undisputed authority on classical masterpieces, this esteemed gentleman served as the personal art curator to the highest monarch for decades. His impeccable taste and aristocratic lineage provided him with an impenetrable shield of ultimate respectability. Yet, beneath this deeply cultured exterior lay a lifetime of dangerous secrets and forbidden international passions that would eventually tear his prestigious world apart. His descent into the shadows began much earlier, driven by deep ideological convictions and a desperate search for authentic, intimate connections. During his academic years, he formed profound romantic bonds with foreign nationals who were deeply embedded in rival intelligence networks. These forbidden relationships transformed the brilliant art historian into a highly effective instrument of foreign espionage. He used his immense social privilege and high-level access to silently pass crucial secrets to international handlers, fully aware of the catastrophic risks. For many years, the domestic security services were completely unaware of the compromised figure walking through the royal corridors. However, as the global intelligence wars intensified during the 1960s, the terrifying truth about his foreign liaisons finally came to light. Confronted by counterintelligence officers in the year 1964, he was forced into a desperate corner. To avoid immediate public ruin and severe punishment, he confessed to his forbidden international ties in exchange for absolute secrecy and highly conditional immunity. For over a decade, he lived a tortured double life, continuing his royal duties while carrying the unbearable weight of a compromised existence. The intelligence agencies kept his dark history deeply buried, using him as a quiet informant while protecting the establishment from immense embarrassment. However, the illusion of safety was violently shattered in the late 1970s. A shift in the political climate led to a ruthless decision by the new government leadership to finally cleanse the state of its hidden vulnerabilities. In the year 1979, his devastating secret was dramatically exposed to the entire nation during a highly publicized parliamentary address. The absolute fury of the establishment fell upon him instantly. He was publicly stripped of his prestigious knighthood and banished from the elite circles he had served for so long. His brilliant academic legacy was permanently eclipsed by the revelation of his forbidden foreign intimacies. He spent his final years as a complete outcast, totally destroyed by the very security apparatus that had once promised him protection.